Welcome to Charles Travels, the podcast where we explore the world and all its wonders. I'm your host, Charles, and I'm delighted to have you join me on this journey today. As we travel through the world of news and current events, we find ourselves at a crossroads where the familiar landscape of public broadcasting is undergoing a significant change. You may have heard the rumors, the speculation, and the concerns about the future of PBS, one of America's most beloved institutions. Well, today we're going to take a closer look at what's happening and what it means for all of us who cherish quality programming, educational content, and unbiased news. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, or CPB, has announced that it will be dissolving its organization due to a lack of federal funding. This decision comes after an executive order from the White House, which cited concerns about bias in public media. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, but what about PBS? What about NPR? What about Sesame Street? These are all great questions, and we'll do our best to provide some answers. As it stands, PBS will indeed be affected by the loss of federal funding. The network will eventually wind down its operations, which means that many of our favorite shows may no longer be available on the platform. However, it's worth noting that Sesame Street, for example, has found a new home on Netflix, so we can still enjoy the adventures of Elmo and friends. This change is not just about TV shows or radio programs. It's about the very fabric of our democracy. Public media plays a vital role in informing and educating citizens, and its loss will be deeply felt. As CPB President and CEO Patricia Harrison said, despite the extraordinary efforts of millions of Americans who called, wrote, and petitioned Congress to preserve federal funding for CPB, we now face the difficult reality of closing our operations. As we travel through this new landscape, we'll be exploring the implications of these changes and what they mean for our communities, our culture, and our society as a whole. We'll be talking to experts, journalists, and everyday people who are affected by these decisions. So, join me on this journey as we navigate the twists and turns of public broadcasting in America. We'll be examining the history, the politics, and the human stories behind this shift. And, as always, we'll be sharing our own travels, adventures, and discoveries along the way. We'll be right back with more fascinating travel adventures on Charles Travels. Welcome back to Charles Travels. As we continue our journey through the stories that shape our nation, we find ourselves in the heart of Rhode Island, where a poignant candlelight vigil was held at the State House. This gathering marked a somber anniversary, the 5th year since the events of January 6th, a day that will forever be etched in the memories of Americans. As the sun began to set on this winter evening, casting a gentle glow over the historic building, members of indivisible Rhode Island and local residents came together. They stood united, each holding a candle, its flame a symbol of hope and resilience in the face of adversity. The vigil was a moment of reflection, a tribute to the courage and sacrifice of Capitol staff, law enforcement officers, elected officials, and all those whose lives were forever changed by the events of that day. In the quiet moments of such gatherings, one can't help but feel the weight of history and the strength of community. These are the times when the beauty of everyday life shines through, not in grand gestures, but in simple acts of kindness, solidarity, and remembrance. As we travel through America, we often find that it's in these small yet profound moments that we discover the true essence of our country. The flickering light of the candles cast shadows on the faces of those present, each one a reminder of the individual stories that make up the fabric of our collective experience. Stories of fear and bravery, of loss and hope, all intertwined in a complex tapestry that is America. And as we pause to reflect on such anniversaries, we're reminded of the power of individual actions, of how each person can contribute to the healing and the strengthening of our communities. As the evening wore on and the candles continued to burn bright, there was a sense of peace, a sense of resolve among those gathered. It was a testament to the human spirit's capacity to find light in darkness, to seek unity in diversity, and to hold on to hope even in the most challenging times. This vigil, like so many others across the nation, serves as a reminder of our shared humanity, of the connections that bind us together across distances and differences. It's a story not just of a specific event, but of the enduring spirit of Americans to come together, to support one another, and to strive for a brighter future. Welcome back to Charles Travels. As we conclude our journey today, I want to take you to the heart of America's capital, where a different kind of story unfolded 5 years ago. It's a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and the unseen toll of defending democracy. Imagine walking through the hallowed halls of the Capitol, where history is made every day. But on January 6, 2021, these same halls became a battleground as officers fought to protect the very foundation of American democracy. The sounds of shattering glass, the smell of tear gas, and the cries of the wounded still echo in the minds of those who were there. As we reflect on that fateful day, we're reminded of the dignity of ordinary work, the kind that often goes unseen and unappreciated. The officers who defended the Capitol were not just doing their job, they were upholding a tradition of service and sacrifice that is at the very heart of American life. They are the unsung heroes of our time, their stories woven into the fabric of our collective experience. But as we celebrate their bravery, we must also acknowledge the toll that they took on their lives. The physical scars will heal, but the emotional wounds may take a lifetime to mend. Many of these officers returned to work with nerves that felt jangled and bodies that hurt in ways they hadn't before. Some were diagnosed with PTSD, a constant reminder of the trauma they endured. As we travel through the back roads of America, we often find ourselves in small towns where tradition and community are still alive and well. But we also see the changing face of rural America, where the fabric of community is being stretched to its limits. The story of these officers is a testament to the power of individual stories, to the human spirit's capacity to persevere in the face of adversity. As the seasons change and winter gives way to spring, we're reminded of the beauty of everyday life, of the simple moments that make us human. We see it in the way a community comes together to support its own, in the way a stranger becomes a friend, and in the way a nation heals its wounds. So let's take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship of these officers, their skill and dedication to their work. Let's recognize the importance of tradition, of upholding the values that have always defined America. And let's celebrate the extraordinary aspects of ordinary American life, where heroes are made every day, often without fanfare or recognition. That's all for today's Charles Travels. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, keep on traveling.